Greetings, Upstanders. Dr. O here. And as I've been reflecting over the Charlie Kirk killing, I've been listening to so many experts on political assassinations. And one of the things that I've learned, with the exception of one of I think it was James Earl Ray, who was 40, I was under the impression that many of the past would-be killers or actual killers who have assassinated people were older men. But one of the things I've learned is that most of them have been in their 20s, similar to Kirk's killer. Another thing that I've been learning is that in many of these instances, there is no political ideological motive in terms of somebody being a Democrat or somebody being a Republican. As it relates to the man who shot at Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania, who was killed, was he 19 or very young? I don't know, early 20s, doesn't matter at this moment. But to this date, people still don't know what his political ideology was. I believe he was a Republican at one point. I don't know if he ever voted for Trump, but was registered as like a Republican or something. But none of that was mentioned in anything that was left by him or discovered by him. We still don't know the motive. And there have been other killings where people really don't know the motive. Sometimes people's motive is just to impress like I've been reading about this, like to impress a woman or to get famous, or just have their name in the news. Like, these are actual real issues that we're seeing as it relates to these political assassinations. And so, and people who study this are saying that as time is going on, some people who look like they may be extreme conservative or whatever, when they go far enough, they actually resemble people on the extreme left and all of that. So, given that to date we haven't seen anything from Kirk's killer to denote an actual political ideology, it has me thinking, what if his ideology was just love for his partner? What if his frustration and his anger was just out of love for somebody who he felt Kirk was targeting and couldn't take it? You see, if that's the case, it clearly obviously doesn't condone what he did, but it speaks to a deeper problem in America that a lot of people just don't want to have, especially many of our so-called leaders. And that question is, what do we do when so many in this country believe that a way to express your anger with somebody over their opinions is through violence? That's the question that people don't want to have. People are talking about toning the temperature down and so on and so forth. Some people are. Trump's talking about ramping it up, and so is his administration. But there's a deeper question we need to have, is that with this easy access to guns, what does it mean for this country where so many people feel like just their feelings towards somebody about an issue allows for them to take the life of that person? That's a deeper inflection point for the United States. And I definitely believe that it's a conversation that Republicans don't want to have, which is why they're spending so much time pointing fingers at the political left. And I don't know if many Democrats are up for that challenge. When I think about somebody like Senator, Amy Klobuchar, and how she's been talking, she's somebody who absolutely is ready for this conversation, and is somebody who can be a leader in this conversation. And this was before the tragic assassinations of Melissa Hortman and the attempted assassination of Hoffman. Like, this was before that. But even those who are in the podcast world, the podcast space, I don't see many people wanting to have that conversation. Many people are just pointing at the fact that this is a guy from a MAGA family. Other people are pointing at the fact that this is a man with trans ideology, which has never been explained. And whatever it is doesn't make people more prone to be violent, because trans people are more likely to experience violence and commit it. That's just a fact. But with our easy access to guns, and with our ability to just be angry at the drop of a dime, these road rage killings, we get killed on the highway in a traffic stop and so on and so forth. I've been reading about how the type of diet that we have, the fast food and everything, is more prone to make us angry and be more prone to respond quickly in situations and things. Like, who's ready to have that conversation? Because this is a uniquely American thing because of our access to guns, but also the way we're so easily triggered, the way we're so easily put against each other and pitted against each other, and the way that we're so comfortable in feeling like the way to respond with this can be through violence. Look at the insurrection. We think that our guy won an election, therefore we're going to overthrow the government and some officers are going to get killed, and this is what we're going to do, and we're fine with it. And then, of course, when you get pardoned, your violence gets excused. And so don't get it twisted. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, if he shot Kirk because he just loved his person, his partner, and he was angry, that's not a justification. That doesn't make it right. It's still horrific. But the point that, and look, I grew up in the hood where anyone knows who grew up in the hood in the 80s and 90s, like you could get killed for stepping on somebody's sneakers. You can literally get shot for just looking at somebody the wrong way. And I'm sure some of these things may happen in some other ways, but like, so I come from a time period in America and a community where we saw people get killed for inexcusable reasons. There's no justification, and all people could say was wrong place at the wrong time. Being in school is not the wrong place at the wrong time. Being on a train going home. But look, as the hood goes, America goes, or the hood goes as America goes. So I think that this is a deeper inflection point for this country. I think it's a deeper point that many of us need to be engaged in so we can actually start ending these political assassinations and gun violence overall. But I feel like too many people have a vested interest in not having this conversation. And that's why, unfortunately, and I hope I'm wrong, it may get worse before it gets better. What do you think? Let me know.